Well, the last of season 2 has come and gone, and to say the reception is a mixed bag is probably the simplest way to describe it. From viewerships tanking to critic and audience scores going up and down as often as a roller coaster. So for one last time, let's talk about the season finale and the season as a whole. But first we have to get right into the abysmal excuse of a finale. Right away it starts off with frustration, not only from someone who's played the games, but from the show's perspective too. To begin, the difference with Ellie coming back to the theatre. Game Ellie is shaken and a bit broken looking, for lack of a better word, while the show Ellie is barging in like a little childish brat that she is. She then goes into Dina and Dina starts to clean her up, which this really bothered me. Despite her and Dina doing pretty much fucking nothing all season while looking pristine with no dirt, perfect hair and perfectly clean clothes, Ellie is all of a sudden covered in bruises, cuts and blood. I mean, come on. If you wanted a scene from the game to be in the show, at least make sure Ellie actually earned her injuries. Just look at the difference. So to skip ahead through the episode, as most of it was bland but passable, we come to Ellie getting close to the aquarium. Now overlook the fact that she still holds the gun like a toddler even though she's well trained. My complaints here are purely the writing, as it seems the writer don't know the meaning of the word show and don't tell, or in this case they decide to do both for some random reason. For one, Ellie watches Isaac and the wolves sail away, clearly showing the end in the distance. It doesn't take a genius to know what they're going to be doing after the scenes we had with Isaac earlier. 2. Ellie heads off in the complete opposite direction and gets hit by a massive wave. I only assume it's a long time she's been sailing as the way it cuts, and she somehow gets swept tens of miles in the opposite direction by the storm, manages to wash safely up onto the beach, and so convenient for her, her boat also washes up right next to her in perfect condition. No holes, no cracks, engines not flooded, nothing. Then she gets pulled away by scars and hung up ready to be cut open. Oh, and what is that I hear? An alarm going off? And a woman saying, "It must be the village." I wonder what reason that could be.
Open the chute. Are you a retarded person? Oh.
And of course, a psycho cult just lets Ellie go without question instead of killing her, because that makes sense. Thank you, plot armor. She then drives back towards the aquarium, so the whole scene was utterly pointless, but we do get a fire breaking out behind her on the island. Why not just show that to begin with? Like, Jesus, how fucking stupid do you think the audience is? Anyway, on to Owen and Mel's death. Now, another massive plot hole here, and I can't wait to see how the shitty writing justifies this in the next season. In 2 years. Throughout the game, Ellie is carrying a map and she marks down everything on it with the help of Dina and the radio. This includes the locations of the theatre, all the patrols, where she's after attacking people, etc. Ellie never gets reminded about Joel's interrogation technique, as Tommy never got there to do it first, so Ellie never tries it on Owen and Mel. Why does this matter? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Ellie poorly tries Joel's technique with her map in the game. This ends with Owen jumping on her and she shoots him, then gets attacked by Mel with a knife. She drops the map and kills Mel, and in the shock of her being pregnant, she gets dragged out by Tommy and leaves the map. And guess who finds this map? I'll give you a clue, but I have faith that you can use your common sense to work that one out. Anyway, the rest of the episode plays out fine, with Caitlin Denver killing it as Abby. And the fact that she was meant to play Ellie a few years ago is a damn shame. They should have stuck with that this time around, because she's absolutely perfect and actually makes me like Abby, a character from the game which I could not like and I never thought would happen. But maybe that's the point, given Neil's obsession to make Abby likeable in the game. Now for the season as a whole. Never have I seen someone who claims to love a story try to rush through the fucking thing like a contestant on Ninja Warrior. I haven't seen pacing this bad since the characters in Game of Thrones unlocked the ability to fast travel around Westeros for plot convenience. And on top of that, the lies the show's creator kept promising, like having more infected being killed in this season compared to season 1, yet failed to mention all that would happen in the first episode. Or how I briefly mentioned in this video, how they focus so much on stupid little ideas and shoehorn in their own ideas making Ellie a spoiled child while having her as thick as a concrete wall. Every interaction she has, whether it be with Tommy, Maria or even Dina and Jesse, any argument or any disagreement ends with all of those characters feeling like they're scolding Ellie like a child. Which, to be fair, she very much does still look like one. That comes down to the terrible casting of Ellie and equally horrible writing. Because of that, Ellie feels never threatening, or like she can stand alone. And I feel the writers must have known this scene as they cut out very important story beats, such as Ellie killing wolves and Abby's friends. And because all of those are cut, the episodes now are just filled with Ellie and Dina either walking through a forest, walking through a city, or walking through an abandoned building. It wouldn't be as bad if they maybe swapped back and forth a little bit of exposition, but it's just some shit jokes and total nonsense, which baffles me even more why they waste so much time with that and yet go full sprint on the points of the story that actually matter. Then the things they did with Tommy's character, like not having him storm off to Seattle on his own revenge bat, which I also touched on in the other video. Because of them doing that, huge elements of the story are thrown off, and instead of me watching this with excitement like I did in season 1, wondering how will they convey this through the new medium, I was left with frustration at the absolute shit that they substituted in instead. Not to mention the choice of killing Joel off as early as they did in the game, which that in itself had huge backlash. But the players had such a strong bond with Ellie, you wanted to push through and help her get revenge just as you felt. But the audience never got this kind of connection with Ellie in the show. Once they killed Joel, people rightfully lost interest in the show, and that showed in the audience retention. I would move on to Bella as Ellie, but again, that's in my previous video if you want to hear my thoughts on that. As for the characters in general, well, right here. But unfortunately the season comes away with more bad than good, which is a shame because there was slight hope when they didn't make an absolute shit show of season 1. But that's all from me, so thank you for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.